Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the stream. I got me and my boy Jack.
What up? What up? What
Tonight,
up?
we will be giving you guys some talk of, last night's game and give you guys our thoughts, a little quick Jets Q&A. You guys have every right to send us in some questions, and we will be able to answer any Jets questions you guys have for us. Just a nice little Tuesday night stream the day after Monday Night Football kicked off, which was pretty insane. So, Jack, how you feeling after that crazy game last night?
Man, absolutely disgusted and embarrassed once again. 9 weeks in a row. That game really stings because it's the Patriots and we had them. We had them, man. I didn't give a shit about the draft. I didn't give a shit about anything besides winning that game. And we had him, and we just totally gave it away. It sucks. It was terrible.
Man.
It was probably the most frustrating game of the year, honestly. All the blowouts, all the disgraceful games across the board we've played. Last night was probably the most frustrating.
It was so frustrating, and it's pretty funny because if you watch the stream back over again and you watch our reactions, you can see in my head, in my facial expressions, I'm laughing through the pain because I do understand that if we do lose, it is it is a good sign for the long term. And I didn't know what to do. I was so so conflicted. I'm like, do I want the Jets to win tonight? Absolutely. I need the Jets to win tonight. We're versus the New England Patriots. How can I root against my team? But then the other side of me was remembering, I'm like, wait, but is this going to be a meaningless win? Is it going to secure Adam Gase's job security? Is it going to do all this nonsense? So it was a really conflicting time to be a Jets fan, but I was so in that game. I was immersed and I was rooting for the Jets to win. And of course, they do not pull off the victory. So, we got some 18 people into the stream. Make sure you smash that like button on your way in. We're going to have a nice little quick hour, and you guys if you guys want to send in any questions, let me know, and I'll me and Jack answer it. But yeah, let's get into some positives from last night. I made
Harvey Langi,
the man,
crazy man.
What are your thoughts at Harvey?
Totally blew me away. To be honest, I had no idea going into that what to expect, and he really just totally blew me away all night. He was fast and explosive and making plays, and it's crazy. Totally crazy.
I did not expect him to be that good. He filled in for Avery Williamson, absolutely insane. So, all right, we got our first question from Justin. Hey, guys, I'm just wondering how you guys feel about when we will be legitimate contenders. I truly believe there's a chance we sneak into the wild card next year, but it all depends on who is head coach. You want to take that, Jack?
I don't know, man. It's looking like I don't think next year is going to be a year that we're going to be contenders at all, based on how it's been looking this year. I don't know. We were saying to each other last night, we don't know who's going to be on this team next year. We don't know what this roster is going to look like, what Joe Douglas is about to do this offseason. So I don't know. You're right. It definitely does depend on who the head coach is. The main thing is that Adam Gase is gone. We need Adam Gase gone. That's really all I care about. I'll think about hiring somebody after I find out that Gase is gone. So the next time we have a shot at anything is when Adam Gase is gone. So that's the most important thing. But next year, I don't know, man. We'll see. We don't know what our quarterback situation is going to be. I mean, a positive thing about losing last night is that, we did further solidify our spot to hopefully get the number 1 draft pick this year. And it's so shitty that we have to say that, but it's true. But yeah, to answer your question, I really don't know about next year. Probably not. But
yeah, it's a good question we need to be talking about. What's up, Ryan? The boys.
What's up, Ryan?
We got Ryan in the stream. But yeah, I mean, next year is going to be. It's so hard to talk about next year right now because it's so many unknowns. There's going to be so many new players. All the people that are on the team are not all of them, but most of them are on 1-year deals. And there's players that are going to be gone. Really household names that we grew to love is going to be gone. Someone like Sam Darnold, Marcus May's on a 1-year deal, Brian Poole, Jordan Jenkins. Crazy. There's a lot of players that might be gone. And it's unfortunate, but I do trust in Joe Douglas's vision to build this team the right way. And we're going to get into all of that later on in this stream about Joe Douglas.
I trust Joe Douglas as well. I mean, so far, I think his press conference was obviously, there was a couple very shaky parts, and you guys could go back on the Jets Media YouTube channel, and we did a whole video about that. But he gave his stock GM answers, and like I have faith in Joe Douglas. Like, he has the respect around the NFL that like we want in a GM. So I hate this team, bro. I do.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it drives us crazy, and it is probably the hardest time to be like a Jets fan right now. Obviously, it is. We're 0-9, and it's so hard to find any little ounce of optimism in this team. But you know what? Every single week, I say the same thing. I'm looking forward to watching the rookies, and the rookies are impressing me every single week. And there's a new rookie every week that I feel like that has a breakout game. And I think last night, the rookie who had a breakout game was Ashton Davis. He, in his second career start, he looked good, especially, you like to see him bounce back because that first game against Kansas City, he didn't look at great. And listen, he went against one of the best offenses ever. So you can't expect Ashton to go out there and lock down Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. For him to go out on primetime football, he was lined up at the line of scrimmage. Greg Williams was utilizing him all over the field like Jamal Adams, splitzing. He had that crazy sack on Cam Newton that got called for a roughing the passer, which I think is absolute bullcrap. I felt like that was a clean hit, in my opinion. And Ashton Davis also had a a touchdown-saving tackle at the 1 yard line. It would have been a touchdown if Ashton Davis did not lay the boom. So Ashton Davis is the Jamal Adams replacement. We drafted him, and then we traded Jamal. So Ashton Davis is supposed to be our future safety, and he is looking great. So what are your really thoughts of Ashton Davis, and what impresses you the most from him?
He looked good last night, man. He looked like another guy who looked explosive and looked like excuse me. He's not afraid to hit people, and like you mentioned to me earlier today, that it felt like Greg Williams was kind of using him like similar to how like Jamal Adams was used like when he was in New York Jet, like lining him up in the box and like sending him in on blitzes a lot, and it was working out. Like we were both sitting there like surprised, like watching it unfold last night. So like I'm really impressed with his explosive,ness, and like I feel like if he continues, if he stays healthy, because that's the curse of the Jets, right? Is everybody continuing to go down week after week. But if he stays healthy and Greg Williams uses him like he did last night, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't just continue to improve throughout the rest of the year. I think that's another good pick from Joe Douglas. Especially
first three picks.
That was before Jamal was gone. So like that's a wizard pick.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Douglas has this long-term vision that none of us can see, and it's just so refreshing that he got a replacement for Jamal, because imagine we didn't draft Ashton Davis, and then we traded Jamal Adams, and we got Bradley McDougald, who's pretty terrible, and we just have Marcus May and then a no-name because Bradley McDougald is injured. So we're lucky that he went out there and got that stud in Ashton Davis. So Joe Douglas's first 3 draft picks in his first offseason as a Jets general manager was Mekhi Becton in the first round, who looks like a home run pick. I think his only question mark so far is his durability. Anything else but that is fine. Second round pick, Denzel Mims, his third career game. He looks like he could potentially be a yak machine, a yard after the catch. That's what this wide receiving group needs. And I'm going to quickly make him the next topic so we can get into Denzel. So, yeah, Denzel Mims, man, I think that this man has all the tools and the traits that you want to be able to have in a wide receiver. He has the size, he has the physicality, he has the length, he has the long arms in order to, I'm trying to think of the word the catch radius. There it is. The catch radius in order to catch the ball. Say it's all the way to your right, and his arms just leak all the way out. So
it's just like, I feel like he's always going full extension.
Yeah. So Denzel Mims is something else. Oh, we got a donation. I got to show this some love. V-Man with a $5 donation. Thank you so much, man. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good is the nickname Tribeca Trevor?
I don't know. I'll give it a, V-Man, I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9. How about that?
I mean,
9.
We're on the Denzel Mims topic, but I guess we'll go into Trevor Lawrence for a quick little second. To be honest, I'm not even getting my hopes up, or I'm not even thinking about Trevor Lawrence, because I know if I put my mind, I'm like, oh my God, we're getting Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to watch all of his highlights and get obsessed over him. And then we end up not getting him, then it's a waste of time. So I'm not even thinking about Trevor Lawrence right now. But I appreciate the donation, V-Man. Always very generous of you. So let's go back into Denzel Mims real quick, and then I'm going to go back into the stream and look at some of the questions. So do you know who Denzel Mims reminds me of? NFL comparison is Brandon Marshall. He is a tall, physical guy that can go up and grab the ball. And it's unfortunate that he only got one target in the second half all over again. It's like, what's going on with this play calling? But what impressed you the most from Denzel?
Probably what I said before. The full extension kind of reminded me of like a DeAndre Hopkins esque move out there. You know, he looked like he just has a great presence of knowing where the ball is and just being able to make contested catches. Like, he makes it look easy. You know, we mentioned last night that he had the most contested catches in college football since 2017. So there you go. You know, we know that he's a guy that, like you said, can go up and get it, and that can be a magical thing for this New York Jets offense. I feel like we haven't had that in a long, long time, maybe since we had Brandon Marshall. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm loving what I see from Mims. Again, you're totally right about one target in the second half. I don't know what happened. I think Flacco was purposely tanking or whatever he was doing. I don't know.
We got a question about Sam Darnold.
Was that one real quick though? Was that one target in the second half the interception, right?
Yeah.
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 Disgusting.
All right, terrible. Richie, do you believe that Darnold can recover his career here? All right, so for those of you guys that do know,
this is where it gets tough.
Yeah, so I'm going to make the banner about Sam Darnold. We're going to talk about him next up. So Sam Darnold is loved from Jack and I. For those of you guys that watch my channel, we are big Sam Darnold supporters. We are big Sam Darnold's believers, and we prefer him to be our franchise quarterback over anybody else in terms of we want him to succeed. And we're not blinded. We understand that if we get the first pick that we might have to consider Trevor Lawrence because he's that good. But to answer your question, I think that Sam Darnold he's a quarterback that can't put a team on his back. He's not going to be able to do that. He's not somebody that can carry a squad to the playoffs. He needs continuity. He needs good coaching. He needs protection. And he also needs playmakers. And all those things he does not have. And I genuinely don't know if he could revive his career as a New York Jet quarterback. It really breaks my heart to say that, because the one thing about Sam Darnold that I've noticed this season, which is really a big sign of regression, is not even his physical ability. It's his mental makeup. It's his ability to read the defenses. It's ability to think fast and play with his instincts instead of his mind, because I feel like he always thinks too much. He's always in his head. He's very indecisive, and he doesn't really know where the reads are. He's missing open guys downfield where he should have hit them. He's not stepping up in the pocket like he used to. He's just overall not comfortable, and I feel like it just comes down to confidence. So to answer your question, I don't really know if he can. The only way, I'll put a scenario right here. This is the only way Sam Darnold can revive his career as a New York Jets quarterback, and he is our franchise guy, and we're winning. That's if we trade back in the draft, whether we get the first, second, or third pick. We trade that back, we get draft capital, and we just build the hell out of him, and we fire Adam Gase. We bring in an offensive mind that's actually legit and that can develop Sam, because I genuinely do feel like that Darnold has the ability to be a system-like quarterback. If we move on from Sam and he goes to any other team, like a competent franchise like the Colts, the Steelers, all these guys with aging quarterbacks, I do think that he has potential to be a franchise quarterback. The only way the Jets can revive Sam Darnold's career is if they surround him with playmakers and protection and give him a better coach, because Sam is not a guy that can carry a squad, as we can tell.
I mean, what else can I say, man? We feel the same exact way about Sam. You hit the nail right on the head. One thing I'll say is that I feel like Sam, compared to what we've seen before, he doesn't seem to be able to get back into the fight this year, you know? As soon as he throws that first pick, as soon as he makes that first bad throw, it seems like he's just done for the whole game after that, you know? And like you said, it's just a lack of confidence that we see with him. He's afraid. First of all, the playbook doesn't let him throw the ball over the top enough. So whenever he does, launch one deep, it's an overthrow. It's inaccurate. It sucks to see the regression of Sam Darnold, but we're watching it before our eyes, man, and we can't deny that we're watching it because we're seeing it with every start this year. And the reality is that I don't think he. And it sucks to say it, man. Believe me, it really does. But I don't think he has a successful future with the Jets at this point. I really don't.
Yeah, it's depressing. It's a depressing topic, but unfortunately, we have to talk about it because it's the reality of what's happening. And me and Jack, for those guys that do not know, we met Sam Darnold personally the summer of his rookie season before he took a snap. So we've been rooting for the guy. I put a lot of time and energy into, hyping him up to be the franchise guy, telling all my friends that he's not a bust, telling him that he's going to be great, and he just needs to take that next step, which he's obviously not doing. I'm really intrigued to see what he can do with the 3 healthy receivers because we saw what Joe Flacco did with them. Joe Flacco's first 2 games as a Jets starting quarterback looked absolutely bad, atrocious. Joe Flacco against the Dolphins and who was the other team he versed? I forgot, to be honest. And he just looked like a terrible quarterback. Joe Flacco's like, oh yeah, the Cardinals, I'm pretty sure. He looks so bad. And I'm like, okay, Joe Flacco comes out with healthy receivers. He gets Brashad Perriman. He gets rookie Denzel. He gets Jamison Crowder, and he looks like his old self. Joe Flacco all of a sudden is throwing. The thing about Joe Flacco is tenure on the Baltimore Ravens. He was one of the best deep ball accuracy throwers in the NFL. I mean, that's what Joe Flacco is known for, is throwing the bombs. And he was doing that last night. He was throwing some heaves downfield. We got another donation.
It just makes me sick, though. It's like we're 0-9, and we're talking about Joe Flacco. Throwing the football downfield, wearing a Jets uniform.
It gets me tight. Imagine Trevor Lawrence, another first-round pick, and a new coach.
You can nitpick all you want. For days, you can nitpick little positives and little negatives. The reality is we're talking about Joe Flacco throwing the effing football on Monday Night Football at 0-8. Now,
I know.
The quickest 0-9.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate that Darnold's injured. I really hate it. But we got a $2 donation. I appreciate that a lot. Imagine Trevor Lawrence, another first-round pick, and a new coach. So with this scenario, that means that we trade Sam Darnold and we get a first-round pick from him, and we get a new coach. If you want to dive into this scenario, this is a pretty interesting scenario because as much as, Jack and I love Sam Darnold and we want him to be the guy, well, where I stand with it, if we do end up trading Sam for a first-round pick and we do get Trevor Lawrence and we do get a new head coach, this Jets team is going to look so different and has insane potential because let's just lay all the facts out on the floor. If Trevor Lawrence is everything he's hyped up to be, if he's even close to what he's hyped up to be, because first of all, what he's being hyped up to be is generational. Let me tell you what a generational quarterback is. Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if Trevor Lawrence can be half of what Patrick Mahomes is, or even 3/4 of it, I don't expect him to be Mahomes at all. But what these draft people are saying about Trevor Lawrence is insane. If we can land him and get another first-round pick, that means we have 3 first-round picks. That means we get Trevor Lawrence with the first pick, and then we have the Seattle pick, and then whoever we trade Sam for. With those next 2 picks, one of them has to be defense because the defense is that bad. One of them should be a corner or edge. The other one should be either a wide receiver, offensive lineman. And then we have a second and then 2 third-round picks. So that scenario does get me happy. It does give me like, whoa, like if that happens, this Jets team, Joe Douglas has his vision. It's going to be really interesting to see because Joe Douglas keeps backing up Sam that he's the guy. But he also said that Jamal Adams has a long-term future on this team, so we can never really tell what Joe Douglas is going to say. So how does this scenario? Yeah, of course. Let me ask
you a question though. Let's say Darnold comes back, plays out the rest of the year, plays every game, stinks it up, no improvements across the board. I'm asking you because you're better at this than I am. What can we expect for trade value as far as Darnold goes?
I mean, where his Adam Schefter actually said last night before the game that he expects the Jets to be able to get a similar compensation as Josh Rosen that the Cardinals got, which was a 2nd-round pick and a 5th-round pick. I'll take that. Like, I take that means we have. Let's put it hypothetical this way. If we do that, say Sam does stink it up and we get a second and fifth round, that means we're gonna have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks. That's 6 picks in the first 3 rounds. Think of that. That is like there. As we all know, this Jets team has so many holes, right? And what the Jets front office is trying to do is build through the draft, and we need as much draft capital as possible. We saw what Douglas did in his first offseason as a Jets general manager, how he handled the draft. Mekhi Becton is his first pick. It looks like a home run. We went over this earlier. Denzel Mims looks like legit. Ashton Davis looks like he could potentially be a beast. I like what I see from Jabari Zuniga, but it's a little too early to evaluate him. So if we can get 6 players and 5 or 4 of them are cornerstone potential elite players, then that is a huge positive for this team. And I know a lot of the narrative of the Jets is they trade away their first round picks to whatever. We can never give our draft picks an extension because they always suck. But that was previous GMs. I genuinely believe that Mekhi Becton and Denzel Mims will be signing an extension when their contract is up, because Joe Douglas is going to break the bank for his own guys that he drafted, because he did all the research. He pressed the draft button of Mekhi. He's going to give Mekhi his money if he deserves it. He's going to give Denzel his money if he deserves it. We're talking about like 4 years down the line. But what the Jets are trying to do is build through the draft, and we just got to be patient. But if we can get Sam for a second, we got a lot of draft capital, man. We do. So we got a lot of people asking some questions. I just saw a
comment about James Morgan. Can we talk about drafting James Morgan?
What
is that?
Okay, so is this what? We got barbecue chicken.
I saw his name and I just brought him up. So any of them will do. What's up, barbecue? How you doing?
Yeah, so my philosophy, or everything I'm saying is what I'm assuming. This is not factual. I don't know what Joe Douglas's philosophy was. But if you go to draft night and you remember what Joe Douglas did, he traded down in the second round to acquire an extra third round pick. And then what did he do with that third round pick? He traded that third round pick for 2 fourth round picks and a 6th. So he got a lot of draft capital. So what I assume Joe Douglas's vision was, he's like, okay, you know what? In my first draft as a Jets general manager, I want to grab a late round quarterback that I can groom over the long term that could be potential cheap backup for the future. And the draft pick that he used on James Morgan was not the Jets pick. That was a pick that he acquired in a trade by moving back. So Douglas said, okay, I don't have enough draft picks to use on a quarterback, so I'm going to trade down and I'm going to get enough capital where I can afford drafting a quarterback. And I know a lot of Jets fans don't want to hear that because he's not doing anything. They're not playing him. He's a long-term answer. He's not the franchise quarterback. He's not going to be the savior. But Joe Douglas values the quarterback position. He values depth. And obviously, we have no idea if James Morgan's good or not. He can be terrible for all we know. He can be amazing for all we know. I mean, Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick, I'm pretty sure. So we never know. But my philosophy on the James Morgan pick was the long-term quarterback for depth. That's really what I got from it.
All right. I guess so. Nothing to combat that with.
Yeah. Super Bowl in 2024. I'm ready for that, Dylan. I hate Mike McCagnon. That bum screwed us, Andrew, 100%. Joe Douglas has to clean up all of his mess, and that's why it's going to take a lot longer to do it. And listen, guys, I know everybody is impatient and they want to win right away, but if Joe Douglas tried to win in 2020 or if he tried to win in 2021, that's not how you do it. And I'm going to quickly, quote what Steve Cohen had to say today for the New York Mets owner. He said, and this is kind of similar to what Joe Douglas' vision is. This is why I really like to hear what Steve Cohen had to say. He said, we are going to try to build a sustainable winning team where we have a championship product every year. We're not going to go out there and buy players. We are going to build a contender. You don't go out there and buy a World Series champion. You build a World Series champion. You don't go out there and have short-term thinking and have one really good year to sacrifice the next 3 years. You're terrible because you sacrifice all your draft capital and all that stuff. So long story short, Steve Cohen understands that it's long-term rather than short-term, and that's Joe Douglas's thinking. So that's why it's really hard for Jets fans to understand, because we've been so bad for so long. So we're impatient. We're like, can we win next year? Can we win today? It's not going to happen. I mean, like that guy said, Mike McCagnon left Joe Douglas a mess, and it's going to take a long time to clean it up.
So disgusting, man. So disgusting. We're just left in the wind through all this,
We're just clueless, man.
They don't
What
care.
position should we address with the Seattle Seahawks pick? This is a good question. So, Jack, you want to take this? So the Seattle Seahawks pick is probably gonna be a late first round pick.
Late first round pick.
So,
I mean, I don't really know what I'm not a good I don't know college football that well, so I don't know like many players coming out of college besides like Fields and Lawrence, honestly. So, but positions on the team that we need filled, I would say unfortunately now like tight end, but definitely O-line for sure. I would want to take O-lineman early in the draft as often as we can for the next like 3 or 4 years, honestly. I tweeted that the other day, and like I stand by it. Like we need to fill this offensive line with like 3 more Mekhi Bectons, Like let's see that. Let's see like for once have a nice offensive line that we build ourselves through the draft, like without like signing like DePrickashaw Ferguson, man. Love that guy. Like did he ever miss a game? He didn't miss a game, right? That was
he missed like one snap of his career or something crazy.
Like hopefully that's Mekhi, and let's get a bunch more of those on the offensive line. Build it through the draft, Like the years that we've done well are years that we've had like crazy offensive lines. Like if you look back in like 2009, where we had like I believe we had like DePrickashaw, Alan Faneca, I think, and Mangold, and then 2 other studs. Like, it's just like
I'm right there with you, man. We got to build these offensive line through the draft, and I would love for them. Listen, that Seattle pick is so interesting because we're going to have a pick right after that, because say we have the first pick in the draft, we're going to have the first pick in the second round. So say that Seattle pick is hypothetically 29. We have the 33rd pick. So we have a pick right after that. So they're very close to each other. And I think one of those 2 picks has to be offensive line. Has to.
Yeah.
And then the next one has to be defense, because we can't, we've been pounding the table for the Jets not to draft defense in the first round for so long, because that's what we've been doing. I feel like just defensive lineman. It felt like that was just terrible, and that's why we've been so bad. But we need to draft defense. And I think that the 2 positions that we need to draft the most is edge rusher and corner. So my mock draft right now, say they do go the Lawrence route, first pick Lawrence, late first round offensive line, then that early second round, a corner, and then the 2 third-round picks, an edge and a receiver. I mean, this is so early. I'm not even talking about, players or anybody. I feel like that's what we need. You need to give Lawrence the ability for protection and weapons, but we also need to help out this defense, because we don't have corners and we don't have an edge rusher. We need to help out Quinnen Williams. And I like the potential we have in corners. We have a lot of guys that are intriguing to develop, but we don't have a number 1 guy. Like, yeah, that's our future cornerback. Like, we have a lot of wild cards. Like Bryce Hall, we're hoping he can show us. He's a very big unknown. Bless Austin. He's a guy that's like, I mean, he led the team in tackles last night for a cornerback. That's pretty legit. But
it's pretty legit. But like, let's see him improve in coverage, because he gets exposed in coverage.
Yeah,
pretty
he does.
It feels like every one of our defensive backs gets exposed in coverage. Could we talk about Pierre Desir for a moment?
No!
How disgusting he was last night.
Let you read this question and then we'll do it.
Hey guys, what do you think of the trade for the first? Let me start that again. Guys, what do you think about trading for 2 of the Jags in the first round, a second round, and a 2022 first?
I guess that just means flipping. Yeah, that's. I understand what you're saying. I mean, that's just. I guess that's a Justin Fields route.
That.
Yeah, that's like the Justin Fields route. Seeing if you want to go back in the draft. I don't know if we get number 1. I don't think they're going to do that, but I understand the hypothetical.
Oh, okay. He wants like trading back with the Jaguars because they.
Richie, what do you think of Mims so far? He's impressed me because of his big playability. Because in 3 games, he has 7 plays of 10+ receiving yards. What's going on, Caden? Yeah, me and Jack actually talked about Denzel Mims earlier in the stream, but I'd love to go back into Denzel Mims. So, Jack, do you want to echo everything you said about Denzel, or do you want to say even more?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I just feel like he's a total playmaker. He goes full extension to catch the football, and he's just like great at making contested catches look easy. And he had the most contested catches for the last since 2017 in college. Mentioned all that before, but just touching up on it again. And I think that if he gets the targets that he deserves, because we want to see the young guys just we're 0-9. We don't have a goddamn win. Let's see these young guys get as many touches as they can, so we can truly evaluate what we have and what Joe Douglas did this past year in the offseason, you know, as his first year with his first offseason as Jets GM. So I think that if Mims gets the touches and the targets that he deserves, then there's no reason why he shouldn't keep improving. I think he shows all the potential that you want in a young wide receiver one potentially.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he looks so impressive in terms of when he gets the ball in his hands. He looks like a guy that sheds, he had two stiff arms. He had 4 receptions, and 2 of them were insanely impressive in terms of yak, yard after catch. I think Denzel Mims, another part of him that we haven't seen yet is his raw speed, because he ran a 4.38. A 4.38 for someone that's 6'3" is blazing fast. And I'm excited to see Denzel really get comfortable, because again, he only played 3 NFL games. He's had 3 weeks of NFL practice. He missed training camp. He's still getting accustomed, and he looks this good. So just wait for he gets continuity with this quarterback, where he's not worrying about either it's Sam or Flacco. Hopefully, whoever the quarterback is next year, whether it's Sam Darnold, whether it's Trevor Lawrence, whether it's Justin Fields, let's hope that whoever that quarterback is, that he's playing for 16 games, and Denzel Mims is playing for 16 games, and they have a head coach that's not named Adam Gase, because I feel like Denzel Mims has the potential to be a stud, an absolute stud. And I hate really, hyping players up, and, because I feel like every time I hype someone up, they destined to look like crap and I look like an idiot. But I really genuinely think, because going into the draft last year, I was watching Denzel Mims highlights, and I'm like, wow, that'd be sick if the Jets can get him, but he's easily a first-round pick. I thought he was going to go late first-round pick, early second-round pick, but somehow, somebody always falls in the draft. DK Metcalf fell in the draft last year. I feel like Denzel, I'm not comparing him to DK, but Denzel fell in the draft just like DK Metcalf, and I feel like, let me say this real quick before we get off the Denzel Mims topic. If Denzel Mims got drafted to any other team than the Jets, and he was healthy, such as the Pittsburgh Steelers. Say the Steelers got Denzel instead of Chase Claypool, Denzel Mims would be flourishing just like Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool's lighting it up because he's an excellent receiver. I feel like he is a beast. But if Denzel was healthy on another team, he'd be in everybody's fantasy lineup starting every week. That's how much potential Denzel has, and it gets me so excited. So let's move on from the Denzel topic. Let's talk about LaMichael Pirine. So LaMichael should get every single carry. So my take on LaMichael Pirine is completely agree. He should get every carry. He had 6 carries last night. Okay, you cannot develop a running back with 6 carries. Give him the ball, and you can see what you get. If you limit his reps, he's not going to get comfortable. He's not going to get into rhythm. Frank Gore gets the ball way too much. My take on LaMichael Pirine is I think he has all the potential to be a featured running back on this team. I think his ceiling is a Bilal Powell type of player, where he is our running back 2 and he gets subbed in and he puts up numbers. So, Jack, what are your really thoughts on LaMichael?
I wish I had more thoughts to give. I wish, because it still comes down to Adam Gase just being
underutilizing him
football and going with Frank Gore all the time because he wants to save his own ass. And it's just no way to evaluate a team. Like, even at the end of the other game last week, like, they were giving Ty Johnson so many carries towards the end of the game. Like, I want to see Pirine get the ball every time. Like, but to answer the question, I think Pirine shows a lot of potential. Outside, I think he's going to be a better receiving and running outside of the tackles kind of guy, as opposed to your like bruiser between the tackles up the middle. But I think that for that type of role, he can definitely be a good fit for this team. You mentioned like a Bilal Powell potential comparison to him, how he could you envision him being a longtime Jet and kind of like being like a good like utility guy for us. Like I'd be down for that.
Yeah, for a fourth round pick, I mean, that's what you want from a fourth round pick.
Totally.
You can't expect, Alvin Kamara was a fourth round pick. Not everybody's Alvin Kamara. So one thing I'll say about LaMichael before we move on about his, play style is I feel like he is good at everything. He's not elite at one trait as a running back. I would say he's average at best at everything in terms of vision, power, speed, passing ability, blocking ability, which is actually might be his best trait. And he's just very good at everything. And he's not like blazing fast. He doesn't have the biggest power. He doesn't have Le'Veon Bell vision. He doesn't have the footwork you want, but he has every single trait you want in running back. And that's a perfect prospect to develop. And that's someone that can only get better.
Absolutely, man. Totally agree.
So let's
Joe
see.
Douglas's draft so far has looked good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about Bryce Huff. So Bryce Huff is another member of Joe Douglas's draft class, but the ironic thing, he was not used as a draft selection. So what are your thoughts of Bryce Huff so far? And like, do you feel like Joe Douglas has the eye for talent, even in like undrafted free agents?
I do. I feel like Huff is like fits into the New York Jets defense well. Like, we've always had, no matter who our deep coordinator is, it feels like for the last decade or so, our identity has been our defense, and like especially like up front, like a rotation of guys, like always fresh bodies coming in. And I think that Huff can fit into the Jets system of defense pretty well. He does get some pressure, and I just want to see as many young guys, at 0-9, I want to see as many young guys on the field as I can at all times. So give me more Bryce Huff, man. All for it. Give me less shitty players that we don't need, and give me more young players that can prove themselves to be studs. And Harvey Landry.
Okay, I love that breakdown. Can we just take a moment to realize how many rookies there are, including undrafted free agents, that are on the active roster? And I'm going to list them all, so bear with me. Ready? Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, Ashton Davis, Jabari Zuniga, Cameron Clark, James Morgan, Bryce Hall, Braden Mann, Bryce Huff, Lawrence Cager, he's on the practice squad, but we'll count him. Lamar Jackson, Javelin Guidry. And I think that might be it. If I'm missing anybody, let me know. That's 12
that's
rookies.
At least 12 out of a 53-man roster.
Yeah, that tells you right there that Joe Douglas wants to build this team through the draft, and he wants his guys to make a difference. Those are 12 guys. That's ridiculous. And especially for him to get guys that in undrafted free agency that can make an impact like Bryce Huff. And we saw what Lawrence Cager did in his limited reps. And Lamar Jackson got playing time. Javelin Guidry's a special teams guy. So it's just so interesting to see how Joe Douglas really cares about his draft class. And I don't understand why he's not in Gase's ear saying like, yo, Gase, like, stop giving the ball to Gore and let me see my rookie running back get the ball more. If there anybody, let's see if I can get a little question.
Isn't it funny how we don't even mention like how Gase hasn't been fired yet? We're just being dragged along on a little string by Christopher Johnson. Like, oh, they'll watch anyway. They'll watch. Once the game starts, they can't help themselves. It's just,
the Jets need a new owner. Like, listen, like, I'm sorry I keep tying this into Steve Cohen with the Mets, and I'm a diehard fan of three teams: the Jets, the Knicks, the Mets. Yes, I know that's absolutely terrible. You guys, feel bad for me all you want. Rest in peace. But the Mets finally got a new owner, and it all starts from the top. And what Steve Cohen said this morning was this: I did not purchase the Mets to make money. I make my money in my other business. I bought the Mets to win World Series, and I did this for the fans. I'm one of you. That's what we need to be happening with the Jets. That's why I want Gary Vee to buy the Jets, because he's one of us. He's a big Jets fan. I feel like the Johnsons, they only care about one thing, and that's money in their pockets. They don't care about winning. They have no sense of passion for the Jets. They don't care. Steve Cohen grew up a Mets fan. He cares. He wants to win. He's going to replicate the blueprint from his business into the Mets. The Jets, The Johnsons just don't care about winning. And it's either they care, they don't know what they're doing, but
They don't even try to hide it. They don't even try to hide it.
I mean,
He
yeah,
goes,
Woody
he waits in
Johnson.
the tunnel. He waits in the tunnel for Adam Gase after the game, and he pats him on the back and he says, "It's okay, Adam. Don't worry. You'll get them next week." Like it's like
Yeah.
a cult. It's literally a cult. It's like
I mean,
a crazy cult
it
following.
shows you how much the Johnsons care about the Jets. And we're not getting into politics at all. We're just giving you the facts. Woody Johnson chose to go overseas and be the ambassador for the president in 2016. That means that he chose that over his New York Jets team. That just shows you that the Johnsons don't care that much about the Jets. I mean, if Woody Johnson got offered that, I feel like he would have been like, yeah, I appreciate the offer, but, I have a New York football team that I own that I need to take seriously. I mean, he just threw the keys to the kingdom to Christopher Johnson.
Yeah, like,
Christopher Johnson is way worse than Woody Johnson. He may be more charismatic in interviews. He might sound intelligent, but he's the one that hired Adam Gase. So Christopher Johnson, goodbye. So hopefully Woody Johnson comes back and he just blows everything up.
Obviously, we're not ignorant. We know that you can't just buy a team because you want to buy a team. You have to amass some wild fortune in some other venture of your life before you could ever think about buying a professional sports team. But wouldn't you think that once you purchase a team and you're the owner of the New York Jets, that you would put everything else aside and focus on that and give a shred of a shit about the millions of people that you have watching games every Sunday? It's just baffling, man. They just toy with us.
Yeah, they
season
really
after season, they just toy with us.
We just don't know if it's they try to they care, but they don't know what they're doing, or they're just like, all right, we're making a lot of money. We don't have to put in a lot of resources because, oh man, it really comes down to ownership. And we just have to hope that Joe Douglas, we just have to hope that the Johnsons be like, all right, Douglas, you are a football mind. You are a football brain. You make the calls. We're not going to do anything. When we fire Gase, hopefully, which will happen after week 17, Joe Douglas should be in every single interview. Joe Douglas should hire his guy. The Johnsons should have nothing to do with the coaching search because they have no idea what they're doing. And Christopher Johnson got deluded from Peyton Manning to call him and say Gase is the guy, and he did no research. And we have Eric Bieniemy, we have Matt Rule, we have Cliff Kingsbury in the door waiting to be the New York Jets head coach, and we hired Adam Gase. All right, so let's get to a more positive talk about the Jets, even though it's pretty hard because we're 0-9.
Dude, it's.
Can
I just say one more thing real quick?
Okay.
If the fact that it hasn't happened yet means that it's probably not going to happen until after the season ends. And that's the most pathetic thing of all time. They do not even have the balls to fire potentially the worst head coach in NFL history. This is going to be the worst team in NFL history at the end of the season. For sure. It's just crazy that they don't even have the balls to fire the guy until after the season, it looks like. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that in there.
No, yeah, of course. It's pathetic. But yeah, we got somebody talking about, he wants to talk about a happy topic. We're going to talk about some Revis Island. I'm down.
Revis Island.
You think Revis Island will be a Hall of Famer? I think that's no doubt. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
We're going to go into some previous Jets instead of the current Jets because that's way more positive. Darrelle Revis in his prime is arguably, whoever you ask, could be potentially the best cornerback in NFL history in terms of when he was at his best. I mean, when he was locking down Revis Island 2009, there's nobody better than Darrelle Revis. So if he's not in the Hall of Fame, then the Jets are just cursed and we don't deserve anything, I guess. I mean, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Am I right?
100%. I saw a crazy stat of the receivers in 1 year that he held to under 30 receiving yards or something like that and under 3 receptions. And the list was crazy. It was Randy Moss twice, Chad Ochocinco, Torrey Holt, just a bunch of other crazy names that you would recognize from that era that you're holy shit, this guy was potentially the best of all time, silently the best of all time, not like a Deion Sanders, flashy, he didn't have any flashiness to his game, Deion could definitely be the best of all time, but Revis was silently just eliminating the best receiver from the game.
Shadowed anybody around his path.
Crazy, man. Crazy. The ultimate lockdown corner.
Absolutely. I got a question for you guys because today is a pretty cool day for me. I started a new YouTube channel. Do we have any baseball fans in here? And more or less New York Mets fans. If there's any Mets fans in the chat, let me know. We got 32 people in the stream. I'm curious if there's any Mets fans. I know there's a lot of Yankees fans, but I'm curious if there's any Mets fans. Let me know in the stream because I made a new YouTube channel called Mets Media. And if you guys are interested, I'm going to make all the same content like Jets, but all Mets related. So the link is in the description right now. And click on that link. Watch my first video. It's me breaking down Steve Cohen's press conference and breaking down his vision. So I would appreciate that a lot if you guys can go and support me on my new channel. But with that being said, let's move on to another thing. Also, sorry, I'm also thinking about making a New York Knicks channel because, I made a Jets channel, super successful. You guys are the best. And I'm like, you know what? I got to make a channel of all my passionate teams. And the Jets, Mets, Knicks, they all historically are terrible. But I'm going to be, posting content from my favorite teams in the future. So also another thing, we got to plug everything. For those of you guys that know my other YouTube channel, Touchdown Kingdom, my boy Jack helped me out with my new video today. Jack actually wrote the script and he voiced over the video. It is top 5 MVP candidates going through week 9 in the NFL. And Jack made his list and I edited over the video. So if you guys are interested in that video, that's Touchdown Kingdom. And we put a lot of time into that. So I appreciate that.
Definitely head over, man. Let me know your take on my take of the candidates.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we're gonna finish off this live in 15 minutes. We've been live for 45 minutes, so we want to go live for an hour. So 15 minutes left. You guys have any questions? Shoot us some anything you got about the Jets. I'm down to talk Mets. I'm down to talk Knicks. I'm down to talk anything, to be honest, because this is a nice little chill night following the Jets getting last minute destroyed last night on Monday Night Football.
For real, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us and just talking shit about this awful, awful team. And swing us a like if you haven't. We really appreciate it. And
make sure you smash that like button. We got 28 likes, 33 people watching. Let's get that over 30 likes for me.
We just got another Jets question. Richie and Jack, thoughts on Ryan Griffin? Do we have any thoughts? Do we have any thoughts on Ryan Griffin besides like just a waste of space out there? Our whole tight end group could just fall off the face of the earth, and like I don't think anybody would even notice on Sundays, would they? I wouldn't.
Nope.
So yeah, I think that pretty much answers the question.
All right, you brought up this year, and when we went off topic, barbecue chicken wants to hear a rant. That's all you, Jack.
BBQ's back at it. This year's just terrible, man. Look at any play last night. He looked like he could. Like, was he hurt? Like he wasn't even sprinting. I go back to that one play where the guy he was on caught it on a curl route, which, by the way, can anybody cover a curl route? Who's our defensive backs coach? Like, does anybody know how to, like, make a play on a curl route? Like, Cam Newton had wide open little curl routes, like, all night in, like, the flats. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like, it looked, like, way too easy for them. But that one play where Desir just got burned so hard, and then this guy ran all the way across the field and, like, almost scored. We were like, yo, is this guy about to score? Desir was like, wasn't even like fully sprinting at all. Like, you better be moving your ass over there to make that play when you just got so unbelievably burnt by like one of the Patriots, like no-name wide receivers. Like, who do they got? Jacoby Myers was like making every play last night. Looked like I don't even know. Like, he looked like a magnet for the football. Just like we had nobody that could cover like Jacoby Myers. Just every little short, secure little comeback route, little curl route. Like, Desir was getting burnt on everything, man. He's got to go. He had like the weirdest game of all time. That game against the Colts. It was against the Colts, right? Where he got, or no, was it against the Broncos? Maybe, I don't know. One game where like he got so burnt, and then came back with like 2 picks and like
that was the Broncos.
That was the Broncos, right? But yeah, he's awful, man.
Let's switch it to some positivity. That's our boy Harvey Langi, baby. Harvey Langi is really flying around like he's Troy Polamalu. I mean, that one play that stood out to me the most last night was when he blitzed Cam Newton. He almost got him, and then he went and tried to wrap up Cam Newton. Cam Newton escaped. Cam Newton throws the ball 10 yards down the field. Langi's on the floor in the backfield. He gets up, he sprints 12 yards down the field, and he tackles him. This guy is an Energizer
Crazy.
bunny,
Yeah,
and he's
crazy.
filling in for Avery Williamson. And it was pretty funny because the New York Jets Twitter account, they posted, a picture of Harvey Landry being the headliner. And I'm like, yo, Jack, you know who this guy is? And Jack just like didn't know who he was. I mean, not a lot of Jets fans know who Harvey Landry was before this game. And it was pretty funny how we had a breakout game because we're like, yo, I mean, the Jets media was actually correct. They knew to post him because he's a beast.
Listen, I'm glad, man. I'd rather feel like the asshole and watch the guy have a good game. I'm fine with that. Go off, Harvey Landry. Love you, bro. Keep doing you, man. You look very explosive out there. Excited to see more of you.
All right, we got some Knicks questions. I'm down to talk about some Knicks really quick. So, Richie, will the Knicks draft another bust, and will the Knicks sign more power forwards? I'm not going to talk about the Knicks too much. I'll brief on this like for 1 minute. So, the Knicks draft history has been pretty rough recently, but we got new front office in charge. We got Leon Rose as the president. We still got Scott Perry as the GM, and we got a whole new coaching staff. This entire Knicks team is completely different, and I'm excited for this Knicks team. We got 2 first-round picks coming up. The draft will be coming up in like less than 2 weeks. Our draft history at that 8th pick, we got Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina in those 2 picks in the previous drafts, and then we got RJ last year. So, you know what? This draft class is so interesting. I don't even know who I want to take. I'm just hoping they do not whiff on it, and I hope they trade Julius Randle because I think he's a bum. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I know they're interested in going out there and trading for guys like Chris Paul or Westbrook. I don't really see that happening, but it's going to be interesting to see, man. I'm just excited to see Knicks basketball. Even though they suck, I watch every single game. Thoughts on Jamal Adams' start to Seattle's career? You want to take that, Jack?
I love it. He's still Jamal Adams when he lines up in the box and when he's rushing the quarterback and when he's stopping the run, he still looks elite. But they're definitely not using him the same in Seattle as we used him on New York. I feel like we drafted him, so we kind of knew what we were getting with him, and we kind of formulated our defense with him as the centerpiece to it, with him moving around. And with him, you always, every other team says you always got to keep track of Jamal Adams. You always need to know where Jamal Adams is. I feel like they're not using him the same in Seattle. To an extent they are, because like I said, when he looks like the Jamal Adams that we knew in New York, he still looks good. He still gets to the quarterback and he can still stop the run when he's in the box and when he's coming off the edge and all that good stuff. But in coverage, he's a total liability. So, I love it. I love it. He had a terrible exit in New York. Screw him. We don't need anybody. We certainly don't need anybody on this team that is going to think that they're bigger than the team, because nobody's bigger than the team. So, later, Jamal.
Yeah, later, Peace. Jamal, and hello, 2 first rounds and a 3rd round pick. Because
we'll take and a player. Even though Bradley McDougald is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, throw him in there.
For a safety who is going to have to get paid by Seattle.
And he's not that much of it. I mean, we got to give Jamal some credit because this Jets defense was 7th overall in the league last year, and now they're like so bad. But I mean, looking back on it, on the whole Jamal Adams situation, he's a guy that you need on your team if you're winning right now. This Jets team's not winning right now. So Joe Douglas kind of gave us a little taste of what he's going to do as a GM. He's going to get Jets fans pissed. And then we're going to see the time play out and see his moves and be like, oh, that's why you did that.
I hope you're right, brother.
I'm a sucker for it because when we drafted Ashton Davis, that moment I was like, what? A safety? Why? And then I'm like, all right. And my brain's like, how can Ashton Davis be a solid pick? And then I realized, like, okay, we need safety depth. And then Jamal gets traded. I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess Douglas realized that Jamal had no future here. So that's just a small little example. Like, Joe Douglas has a long-term vision that we will not see for a while, and he has to be held accountable for all of his moves. And I'm excited to judge his moves because that means, time moved on. So we got a lot of Denzel Mims questions. We talked about Denzel a lot. Richie, Jack, do you guys still think that Denzel Mims will be a long-time receiver for us? Long story. Blah. I'll answer that very shortly. Yes, Denzel will be here for a long time. He was drafted from Joe Douglas, and he is all the potential in the world. He just needs to stay healthy, man. I don't know. I'm trying to. Do you see a question that sparks your interest?
Our Seattle pick will be around 25th, 26th is my guess. Yeah, you're probably right. It's definitely going to be a late first round pick for sure. So we'll see what we can get for that. Hopefully some O-line presence would be nice. Yeah,
so there's 5 minutes left in this stream, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button to finish off this. Let's talk about, what we can expect and how we can just, take a week off. No Jets football. We are entering the bye week. And let me know what you guys want to see from my channel in the future. I see some people saying that Jack should be on the channel more often, and he will be on here at all times. Jack is going to be on the channel for a while. He's helped me out with Touchdown Kingdom content. And so
yeah, baby.
Just to finish off.
So let's look at the Jets schedule for the remainder of the year. And let's just quickly break down for the last 5 minutes. Let's just quickly break down like what we think the winner loss. Jets Chargers.
Loss.
Oh yeah, obviously.
I mean, sure. Justin Herbert looks like a beast, and I feel like they're destined to have a game where they win, and they've been like just blowing every game.
Jets Dolphins.
Loss,
but a closer game than people think. I know everybody thinks that the Dolphins are hot right now, and they are looking good, but they're still.
I'm down to beat them. I'm down to beat them, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I'm not gonna be rooting for them to lose that game. Like I screw the Dolphins. Sorry if there's any Dolphins fans in here. I know you guys show me a lot of love.
Jets Raiders.
That's a winnable game. I'll say that.
It's a winnable game, but
it's gonna be lost.
But it's John Gruden against Adam Gase.
Yeah, what happened last year? John Gruden against Adam Gase. You remember?
Off the top of my head, we smoked them, right?
Smoked them, 34-3.
Yeah, we smoked them.
So John Gruden's coming back. He's be like, "You guys remember what happened last year? That happens again. You guys are all fucked." So that's not gonna happen again.
Gruden.
Jets
Seahawks, quickest L.
What do you mean? We're gonna destroy them.
They have like one of the worst defenses in football. So usually it would be like, all right, like let's at least make it a shootout. But our offense is a joke.
Let's see Sam with the healthy receivers.
Sam with 3 healthy receivers.
And Mekhi. We haven't even talked about Mekhi Becton once this entire stream. What the hell?
Is he like already the GOAT? Like, do we expect greatness from him? Are we asking too much of the Rook?
Oh, yeah, we are. Because the only thing I care about for him is to be on the field for 4 quarters. That's making me a little nervous, to be honest.
Jets Rams.
It's an L.
It's an L. It's Sean McVay.
And then we're gonna beat. And then what? The Browns next.
The Browns. I would love because the Browns are shit. They're gonna get Nick Chubb back. They're gonna get Nick Chubb back. We're gonna see if they can become a dominant running team again. But Baker Mayfield looks like dog shit. I would love to beat Baker Mayfield. Is it gonna happen? No.
And then I do feel like we're gonna secure the first pick going into week 17. So if we do win the game, it doesn't matter, and we're gonna destroy the Patriots. You're going to destroy the Patriots.
I couldn't wait to say that because it has to happen, bro. 1-15. You guys heard it here first. Me and Richie put it out there. We claimed it.
First pick, 1-15. We either get Trevor or we trade back.
A week 17 dub as the last game of the year.
But then is that going to give Adam Gase an opportunity to
picture Adam Gase in the first episode of One Jets Drive next year? Like, yeah, the team just feels different this year. It's just different energy. Coming off of that momentum.
Oh no!
The last game of the season with that one win, just feels different.
Oh yeah, terrible, terrible. So that really does it for this little quick stream. Just so you guys know what to expect from this channel in the future, I'm actually going to start a talk show, which is pretty much similar to what we're doing right now. For those guys that know who Ali is, he is my co-host over at Loyal Media Sports Podcast. And we're going to find a time. I think we settled in on Monday, and expect every single week for there to be a talk show, 7 o'clock leading up to Monday Night Football. Me, Jack, and Ali, and we're probably going to try to get on a special guest to be the fourth guy every single week. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more Jack. I'm going to try to post content throughout this bye week and go live here and there. And also, help out my new YouTube channel, Mets Media. Stay tuned for Knicks Media. I'm going to be covering the draft and the free agency. I got a lot of stuff.
Media, baby. Richie's got you on lockdown for all your New York sports desires.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't help out for the Yankees fans and the Brooklyn Nets fans and the hockey fans, but I'm going to be supporting my passionate fan and my passionate team.
If you support the underdogs, Richie's your boy.
Yeah, and Jack is a new Mets fan. I'm going to be educating him, and he's going to hop on, and he's going to be loving when we win the World Series in 2 years.
Hopping on the wave, baby. Hopping on the wave.
All right, guys. Thanks again so much, and appreciate it. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And peace out, boys.
Peace out.